right into it. As also, I want you guys to keep in mind, when it comes to whatever anime you think about, or even the ones I mentioned in this list here, keep in mind, Mori seriously wants to make a Love Live versus Idolmaster fighting game, right? From what I have seen, these are characters without any kind of fighting experience and no moveset that you could actually, you know, just look at and be like, oh, cool, that's what their normals will look like, that's what their specials will look like. They sing, and that's not, you know, he wants to make a fighting game from characters that have no moveset. So keep that in mind as I go through this list here. Let me go through the comments really quick. Alright, hold on, let me get back into the lobby. Okay. Right, literally, Jordan, literally, like, I'm just thinking, like, okay, this is gonna be, that'll be a crazy fighting game, right? Right, your normals would be whatever pitch you can hit. You have to have a microphone when you're playing. Your normals will be whatever pitch you can hit. And then you're also playing DDR and a dance pad too if you're gonna do a special. That'll be ridiculous. But yeah, let me get right into this here. So here's my tier list. I'm gonna start off with the lowest tier, the ones that are the furthest away, the ones that, you know, all of these are within possible. These are all possible, but I'm gonna go from just within the realm of possible at the very, very edge of, you know, their reach to being more and more within their reach and more likely. You know, Jordan, I actually have not seen that much Dengeki Climax gameplay. I have not, unfortunately. I've seen like a little bit of it, but I haven't seen that much of it. Okay, so starting with Tier 3. Tier 3 is the bottom tier, and then I'm going to go up to Tier 1, which would be the ones that, looking at everything, would be the most likely and probably overall have the biggest impact on a variety of things. Okay, so at Tier 3, I mentioned Tales of Exilia, and I mentioned that one because it was created, from what I can gather, that franchise was created and probably still owned by Namco Bandai. Also, there is a manga adaptation of the game, so, you know, I do think that if Namco Bandai gave the rights to Arxis, you know, then they could use those characters. And I've heard that the Tales series, you know, it's pretty popular, so I thought, okay, why not include it on the list, you know. Alright, I think that there's also some Square Enix owned anime properties here, because they're published in Gangan. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And Arc System Works, they have some connections with Square Enix, and you know, it's possible. You know, franchises like you know, so not only is Sword Art Online in Dengeki, but it's also connected to Square Enix. So I feel like getting Sword Art Online, getting more characters from Sword Art Online into BBTAG beyond the two that were in Dengeki, that is a complete possibility. What I think is also potentially possible at the same time, if they had one Square that represented, you know, Sega or whoever was able to get the rights to Dengeki back when the game was made, right? And they were able to get those characters in there. Let's say that we had the Sword Art Online and the Durarara characters. You know, we had those two, you know, from each franchise, so we had a total of 4 characters. And let's say that those 4 each do well. I could definitely see them doing something in the future, maybe where they expand on each one and then they separate. So then you would have one for Durarara, and then you'd have one for Sword Art Online as well. Let me hold on. I'm checking the comments really quick. Okay, alright, Dread. Akame ga Kill. I was actually going to mention Full Metal Alchemist. That was literally the next one here that I was going to mention, because in Gongon, Full Metal Alchemist is there, as well as Soul Eater. And also, surprisingly, Idol Master is it's a manga, and it is in Gongon. You know, so, you know, that's a possibility. What I'm seeing here, I'm seeing that Arxis is prioritizing some of the easier things first that they could get into BBTAG. So, for example, Arcana Heart had sprites. All they had to do was redraw the sprites. Now, I know you guys are probably asking, well, what about Ruby? Because they had Ruby, you know, from launch. Ruby, because if you do the research, Arc System Works, Rooster Teeth, both Rooster Teeth and Arc System Works have expressed interest in there being a Ruby fighting game, and you know, they've expressed interest in working with each other to make the fighting game. So before BBTAG was ever a thing, a Ruby fighting game was mentioned. So it is completely possible that these sprites that we're getting here in BBTAG are the sprites that they're going to be using again in the Ruby fighting game, you know, in the future, if that happens. You know, but yeah, I also do think that Akame ga Kill, yes, that is also in Gongon as well. So again, it's right here in tier 3. You know, it is a possibility. You know, this is at tier 3. I would say that anything beyond this, you know, things beyond this are still possible. Like, I would still say Fate. I'm sorry, no, Fate is actually a tier 2. I take that back. JoJo, for example, is still possible. It's just that it's at the edge of possibility, from the way that I see things. I think it will be smart. I think it will be a really good move. I think it will be beneficial for everyone involved, but the only thing is, it's Shueisha. That's the only reason why I say it's at the edge of possibility, you know? So, moving on to tier 2. Fate would be here, but I'm not going to talk about Fate because Fate is a, you know, like a mobile, you know, game. I'm not gonna go into it. It does have its anime, but it is a mobile game first, as far as I know. So, you know, but just so you know, Fate would be tier 2. All right. Okay, yeah. So tier 2. These other franchises here. These are likely because they appear in Dengeki Bunko, and then Sega was able to get the licenses for some of the characters before. Sega is currently working with Arc System Works. If you guys notice at the end of their trailers in the corner, you know, where they have the different company copyrights, Sega is listed there. So that's a definite possibility. I did not know that, Jordan. Fate is a visual novel. I did not know that. I didn't know that it was a visual novel first. Interesting. Combo. Okay, I'm actually gonna address that at the end of this tier list here. I'm gonna address that. But yeah, so for tier 2, right, so for tier 2, here were some notable franchises from Dengeki, that I thought would be interesting to add. For those who don't know, Disgaea 1, Disgaea Hour of Darkness, both Atlas and Square Enix published this game for PS2 and the Nintendo DS in certain regions. Dengeki Bunko also has a manga adaptation for it, and also, I know that there have been fans asking for Disgaea characters to come to BBTAG. I know, I don't know if he's watching right now, but Alex is one of them. He's asked for Disgaea characters. I've seen him ask in the chat before. And NIS has actually been asked for a Disgaea fighting game, you know. So I think that Disgaea would be an interesting, you know, an interesting choice if they would, you know, if NIS would see this and would collaborate and work with them, right? I think that Durarara would be more likely, though. It's already present in Fighting Climax. and the fan base has actually asked for a fighting game, and I think this is the perfect chance to add them in BBTAG and see how much of a demand there is for a full fighting game for those characters. I do think that also, again, because these fan bases are smaller, that they would probably be more dedicated and more appreciative of their characters being added to this game, because this is a really good game and their characters get very little appreciation. So I'm sure that that would, you know, be great for everyone involved if that happened. Let's see here. 1 sec. Alright, I'm gonna finish tier 2, and then I guess I'll take a look at the comments there. So for Sword Art Online, I was surprised. This franchise has a bigger fan base than I initially thought. And, you know, I mentioned it earlier, they said that they don't have the most fun video games, but they really enjoy the characters. I think it'd be cool if they were added into BBTAG. Some people have asked if we're going to get a continuation, like a second story mode. Now, I think if we do get that, what we need is, for the villains, we need the villains to already be in the game, and we need a new story that is good, okay? I'm not going to hold my tongue. That story that we have in this game, it sucks. It sucks. This is the worst story mode in any fighting game that Arc System Works has ever done. It sucks. The character interactions are good. Those are good, but everything else sucks about the story mode. You know, so I'm sure that the Sword Art Online fans, if we could do a good story mode, and let's just say that the Sword Art, you know, storyline or whatever, it's actually decent, right? I'm sure they would probably appreciate it, you know? So that's it for tier 2. Also, something to note, if you see the Dengeki Bunko characters coming into BBTAG, right? If you see them come into BBTAG and the sprites are redrawn like Arcana Heart, take that as a really good sign. If they're just touched up, take it like we're most likely only going to get those characters. Why do I say that? I say that because if we had some Sword Art Online characters in the game, right, from Dengeki Bunko, and they just touched them up and put them in, and let's say that they want to add more in later, then the ones they add in later are going to look so much better than the ones that they just put in this game and touched up. So, if they had plans of adding in more afterwards, they would probably redraw them as soon as they get, like, the first couple, you know, of characters in. Right? Just saying. So that's something to keep an eye out for, because otherwise, you know that French Bread, they did the sprites for Dengeki, if I remember correctly, and I doubt that they would do them for this game, because this game is not their IP. Just saying. Now let me see here. Combo. I agree with you. I don't think that the story mode should be the focus for right now. Definitely not right now. I think if we do get a second story, it should be at the very end of this year, or maybe even early next year, if we do. I'm not, like, if we don't, I'm fine, but I'm just saying that it would be interesting if we did get a proper good story mode, but by no means is that the priority, or is that a make or break for this game. You know, definitely not. Let's see here. Okay, so to answer your earlier question, I think that BBTAG, I think that if we mention these franchises, right? If we tell them about these franchises that are all within their fingertips, right? First of all, they can't get all of them in this one game. They can't. Maybe they could potentially go beyond 9, you know, at the, you know, near the end of this game's life. They could maybe go beyond 9 franchises like we think, but you know, I would say it's very likely if BBTAG ends up achieving, if this game achieves anime smash status, we're definitely gonna get a sequel. That's what I'm gonna say. I honestly believe if this game achieves anime smash status, we're definitely getting a sequel to it, man, because nothing else has anime smash status. This is it. This is it, dude. Just this. And of course, whatever franchises they didn't get in this time, you know that whatever time will be spent between BBTAG 1, if you want to call it that, and BBTAG 2, you know that they would be working trying to get, new franchises, without a doubt. So I definitely think that it's a combination. It's an expansion thing, but up to a point. Up to a point. And then I think that if there was anything really, really big, then I think that it would probably be talked about. They'd probably save it for BBTAG 2. If it came really, really late, then, they'd probably save it for BBTAG 2. But, yeah, as long as this is successful, I would definitely see them doing a sequel. Why would we need a sequel, Gray? Because after so long, pretty much every fighting game gets a major revision, right? I mean, if you want to directly compare it, look at Smash Bros. How come the Smash community complains so much about how big of a difference there is between Brawl, there was Brawl, and then there was the one on the Wii U, and then there's Ultimate, right? How come people complain about them so much? It's all Super Smash Bros. How come they couldn't just make the one version? People complain about a lot of things, when it comes to that. And it's because I think that after they have all these characters in this game, they're probably gonna be able to see, okay, what mechanics could we keep in this game? I could see them maybe, like in BBTAG 2, having the simple mode and having, the manual mode, right? To make things so that simple mode would be closer to what we have now, and manual mode would probably be a bit beyond what we have right now. I could see that happening. Maybe 5C won't be a minigame anymore if you're on manual mode. Maybe you'll have air throws when you're in manual mode. Like, little things like that, just to change the mechanics of the game, just to keep the gameplay itself fresh, new, and interesting. As well as if they wanted to take the time, to update the previous character sprites, right? A lot of people complain about BlazBlue sprites, looking at BlazBlue sprites, Persona sprites, Uni sprites, and comparing them to the Ruby sprites, right? That's what a lot of people complain about. So, just, a few things that they could improve or update on between BBTAG 1 and 2. Just off the top of my head. I'm sure that they would probably have more things they could pick from when the game is closer to, its end stage. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to the Tier 1 anime list here. And I call these Tier 1 because this one right now is, in my opinion, the most possible, and there's some most evidence that would show that it would get a lot of support, and it would be something that it's logistically easy to execute. Just saying. Yeah, great. I agree. If this does get more than 9 franchises, that would be hype, man. That would be hype. Well, see, combo, that's true. That's totally true. That's totally valid, combo, but a lot of people on console, at least, this is something that people on console mention, from time to time. When the game first came out, people mentioned it like nonstop. So I still definitely see it being a potential thing that they would update in a BBTAG 2. Just saying. But for me personally, I'm not bothered by it. I'm surprised that so many other people are bothered by it, though. But, it happens. Okay, so, as you guys probably could tell from the title of my stream here, you probably already know what I'm going to consider Tier 1 to be the most likely, and, which one will be most likely and which one will be most feasible. I think that Studio Trigger, in case you guys don't know, Studio Trigger owns their own anime. They've produced their own anime, and they actually have a pretty good following, to be honest. They have a really solid following, but Studio Trigger does not have that many games for its own IP, right? There was only one game, as far as I know, that's come out, and that was for Little Witch Academia. It came out worldwide last year. That game, it's not the best. I'm gonna say that it's not the best. But that's it. That's all that we've had, right? You know, that's all we've had so far. Now, I've done a little bit of digging myself personally, and it seems like fans have been asking for a Trigger All-Star fighting game since like around 2017. And right now, Trigger has enough IPs, you know, to have a pretty good size roster. You know, I don't know if you guys have seen the mock-up images online for, you know, just like fan images for what they think a Trigger All-Star game would look like, but it looks amazing. It looks great. It looks fantastic. But just to give you guys an idea of how many characters, you know, how many characters their IP could lend, you know, their different IPs could lend to a crossover, you know, game. You know, just let's take a look at Kill la Kill. Kill la Kill has 8 characters that you could easily think of off the top of your head. Look at the Kill la Kill If roster. That's pretty much, you know, those 8 characters. Little Witch Academia, you know, there's that. I think that those characters will be interesting to play as. And surprisingly, I've seen some people who've been asking for, they asked for a Little Witch Academia fighting game specifically. I've seen people ask for a Kill la Kill fighting game specifically, and a Little Witch Academia fighting game specifically. I thought that was pretty interesting, right? To specifically ask for both of them. Darling in the Franxx, that's another one. That's one of their more recent ones. I think it finished airing last year. I haven't watched that one myself, so I can't comment on it, but I've seen like a couple of clips. The characters use mechs. The mechs, you know, they each have their own weapons. It looks like if they were in a fighting game, you know, there would definitely be some playstyle variety. Then there's Space Patrol Luloko. And from that, and when I first took a look at it, because I just watched a clip, that's another one I haven't seen myself, but it looks like there would at least be 4 characters. You know, I would say, from what I can tell, there would at least be 4 characters. I've seen people, they specifically want Luloko to be in a fighting game. You know, they've, you know, in the mock-up they had the pictures there, so clearly they want them in there. Also Inferno Cop, which at the very least would be, you know, Inferno Cop, you know, the title character. Maybe a couple of others. There's going to be an Inferno Cop Season 2, so who knows? You know, who knows? C Combo, yeah. See, you were one of the people asking for the Kill la Kill fighting game. And, you know, I understand, you know, I've seen those comments on the Kill la Kill subreddit. There are people who love the fighting game. I think it looks great. I think it's going to be a great game. But I understand your pain, bro. A 2D Kill la Kill fighting game would have been awesome. Without a doubt. It would have been awesome. And a lot of people, even now, they say that they hate the Kill la Kill, they hate Kill la Kill If, and they just want a 2D fighting game, right? Which, of course, the compromise, the in-between there, would be getting Ryuko and Satsuki and BBTAG. You know? So, if that happens, then, you know, I think that you know, you'll be happy. I know I'll be happy. You know, I'll be satisfied. If we get Ryuko and Satsuki and BBTAG, I'll be happy. You know, I know a lot of people, looking at the fan base, will be happy about it. You know? So, we'll see. We'll see. Although, I don't believe that we would get more than Ryuko and Satsuki and BBTAG. Because just them alone, they're 1/4 of the Kill la Kill If roster. So, I wouldn't say to, you know, to count on that. Gray. Gray. Dude, I said the same exact thing. Like, I said the same exact thing, Gray. I personally would like Mako more than Satsuki, but that's not... I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, look. I try to keep it as... Like, I try to, like I want to give you guys the facts, but whatever could happen, that's cool. I want to let you guys know. Like, if it actually is possible that it could happen, I want to let you guys know, and I want you guys, you know, I want you guys to know. But I also don't want you to have unrealistic expectations, right? I just don't think we would be getting any more characters beyond Ryuko and Satsuki. If we did, I would be thoroughly surprised. And yes, I would really love for Mako to be one of those ones beyond them, but I don't think we are. I really don't. Just because, like I said, Kill la Kill If has a small roster. It's gonna launch with 10 characters. Two of those characters, out of those 10, 4 of them are Ryuko and Satsuki, right? So that means they have 8 characters, really. And we're gonna get, and you know, we get Ryuko and Satsuki here in BBTAG, right? We have 1/4 of the Kill la Kill If roster. If we get 2 more characters, we have half of the Kill la Kill If roster. I don't think that's gonna happen. That's the only reason. If Kill la Kill If they had more characters in Kill la Kill If they hit like 16 characters, then I could see us getting 4. But we have 10 at launch, and then we're gonna get 2 more after. We're gonna have 12 characters in that game, but at launch we're only gonna have 10. We're not getting any more than Ryuko and Satsuki. I don't see it happening, man. I don't see it happening. You know, just saying. Just saying. I just don't want you to be holding out hope for that. I do thoroughly believe that, you know, Ryuko and Satsuki, I feel like Ryuko and Satsuki, it's likely. I personally feel like it's really likely. It would be announced at EVO. It would be announced at EVO, but I feel like it's really likely. Alright, Gray. Okay, man. Alright. Okay, man. Alright, well, by all means, keep on, keeping hope alive, dude. For sure. Oh, and then also, lastly, their last anime I haven't mentioned yet, Kiznaiver. Kiznaiver has 8 different main characters. I personally didn't like the anime that much. I was curious, and I looked online, and apparently a lot of people in general, they just have, like, positive views of Kiznaiver. I didn't like it that much. It was okay. The most interesting part about it was, like, the different characters, and then, the intro, bro. The intro to Kiznaiver is perfect. The animation is, like, perfectly married to the music, bro. You gotta watch it. If you haven't seen the opening, just the opening, you have to watch it. Like, it looks awesome. It looks really great. You know, and then the Kiznaiver characters don't really have, like, a moveset either, but again, these are characters that fans have asked for, so why not include them? And then, of course, we have, you know, the Promare film. You know, I don't know how many characters are going to be in that, but, you know, between all those franchises, you have a good roster for 40 characters. So they could have a really cool all-star game. Let's see here. Okay, so I think that it would be cool. Oh, how do you... Hold on, wait. Okay, yeah, Jordan spelled it, free man. I know, right? It's like you hear it and it's like a what? A what? But yeah, yeah, Kiznaiver. Combo. I thought the same thing. Trust me, I thought the same thing. I'm like, what? You want Kiznaiver in a fighting game? Bro, listen, like I said earlier, if Mori wants to do an Idolmaster and a Love Live fighting game, who's to stop them from wanting Kiznaiver? Kiznaiver makes more sense, or at least in my opinion, it's more doable than some singing, you know, pop stars. Like, to be honest. At least when it comes to Kiznaiver, some people online came up with this idea. Because they share pain, if it was a team-based fighting game and they were on point, if they take pain, then they could share it with the other teammates, and then those characters could be healing from it, you know, since they're not on point, you know, so then the pain could be split up between all characters. And I think that would be really cool. That would be a really cool property for Kiznaiver characters to have, right? I think that'd be cool. You know, just an idea. So they already are brainstorming some fighting game mechanics, man. Okay. You know, there was something I meant to mention earlier, but that's okay. I'll just get to it. I'll get to it later. That's all right. I'm gonna get to that later. But there is something really cool. I'll just save it for the very end. You know, I'll just save it for the very end. Anyway, the thing is this. I think that it would be really smart if we had some of these characters added to BBTAG. Okay? Now, the reason I say that is because Arc System Works has a chance. They're working directly with Studio Trigger. And this is their chance to get anime franchises, to get, you know, franchises that either have never had any games, you know, or fans have been asking for them to have, like, a fighting game. This is the chance. This is it. This is why I think that this would be the tier 1. This is the tier 1 choice here. Combo. Oh, Combo, dude. Yeah, like, I mentioned Soul Eater earlier. By all means, yeah, like, by all means, you know, ask for Soul Eater. For sure. It's just that I don't think it's that popular. But if it's, like, included, if they could just get rights to a variety of Dengeki characters, then I think that having Soul Eater there would be really cool. You know, for sure. Oh, a full Soul Eater fighting game. I thought about that. And it's like, if you think about the roster, it would be Mako, Death the Kid, and Blackstar. And of course their weapons. What, Death? Like, Kid Death's father. I think he's just like Death. I don't know. You know, like the big Reaper guy. Sid, Krona, Medusa, and Blair. Those are like the only, and then I think there's like a couple of other characters I'm not thinking of, but I feel like the roster would be like 8 characters, maybe the same size as Kill la Kill Ifs. You know what I mean? You know, that's the only reason I didn't mention it. I just didn't think that it was there for a decent sized roster. You know, I think that, well, I feel like 12 characters. 12 characters is like the minimum people expect. Yes, Dread, they had a game. They did have a game on PS2. I've seen a little bit of gameplay. Didn't look that great, to be honest, but it did happen. And I'm sure that they would like to get another one, you know, one that's a lot better. I have not looked into X-Play, so I can't comment, but I'm sure that if the characters are anything like they are in BlazBlue, then that would probably be, like, pretty awesome, dude. But yeah, I was saying that they should, for Studio Trigger, I feel like Studio Trigger should lend some of their anime in a BBTAG for 2 reasons. One, making them, putting them in the BBTAG, of course, helps BBTAG, and then it would expand their fan base, you know, Trigger's fan base for their anime. And I mean, they have a decent fan base already, but you could always expand it. The same way how Ruby already had a good, you know, fan base, but more people started watching Ruby after Ruby was in this game. The same thing could happen for Trigger's anime, right? So, beyond Kill la Kill, because I said that Kill la Kill would probably only get 2 reps, right? As unfortunate as that sounds. I feel like after Kill la Kill, you know, if they said, oh hey, we're gonna add in this other anime from Trigger, and if it sells really well, we're gonna do a Trigger All-Star fighting game. Dude, bro, they would sell really well. You know, it would definitely sell really well, because fans really wanted a Trigger All-Star fighting game. And some of them, I mean, I don't know, we'll see, but if Kill la Kill, if we see Ryuko and Satsuki in the game, it'll be interesting to see them, because we all know, like, if you watch Trigger anime, it has a unique visual flair. Like, it just, there's something about it. It looks good. It's not like these mainstream anime, right? It just visually has, like, it pops. You know, it's colorful. It just looks so good. It looks so good. So, for example, I know that seeing Ryuko with her life fiber synchronized, you know, if she does that in her intro BBTAG, it's gonna visually just look so good in the game. You know, I know it will. But yeah, since we can only get 2 Kill la Kill characters, I'm thinking, in BBTAG, what franchise should we get after? And I thought about it, and personally, I think that it would be really cool if we got Little Witch Academia characters, right? Now, before you guys, just think like, okay, what is he thinking? Remember, Mori, Love Live, Idolmaster. If those characters have any chance of getting a fighting game, come on. But, I think that why'd I say that? I think that Little Witch Academia would be cool because they have it has like a unique visual style, and just visually, I think that those characters would look great in the game, to be honest, oh, well, alright, Jordan, I mean, if you want Love Live as a fighting game, I'm not saying it can't happen. I mean, Mori said he wants it to happen, so it'll probably happen, dude. It'll probably happen at some point. All I'm saying is that, no one off the top of their head can think of a moveset for those characters. Just saying. Okay, Combo. Alright. I'm not mentioning Guilty Gear, at least not today, because the developers themselves have said that they're not going to have Guilty Gear in a crossover until the story is finished. And I honestly feel like, at this point, even if they broke that rule and they added in some Guilty Gear characters, because they own the rights to all those characters, if we don't get everyone's favorite character in this game, people would be really upset. That's the first thing. 2, I feel like a Guilty Gear cross BlazBlue game, that's much more of a possibility in the future than Guilty Gear getting into BBTAG. And I say that because they're probably working on BlazBlue right now to be done in the Xrd engine. Just saying. That's why I'm not talking about Guilty Gear. That's my perspective on it. If we did get any Guilty Gear characters, it would be a surprise, but I still think that people would be upset because inevitably someone's favorite wouldn't make it in. Okay. So, I think that, so the reason, I said Little Witch Academia would be really cool, is so that, one, Darling in the Franxx, since that's a more recent anime, they'd probably want to save that for their own all-star fighting game anime, right? That would be like a really good way to, to pull people in. I'm sure that regardless they get people, but that would be a good thing for them to save for their own game, right? That's the first thing. 2, kind of like how Arcana Heart has a bunch of brawlery characters, a bunch of brawler-ish style characters. I think that Little Witch Academia could be the franchise of the mid-range and zoning characters, right? But still have unique play styles. I think that would be really cool. So, I don't know, like, have any of you guys seen Little Witch Academia? Like, feel free to, tell me in the comments. I'm curious, because if you haven't, I would say give it a watch. It's not the most amazing thing, plot-wise, but the characters are a joy to watch, in my opinion, but don't expect, like, an amazing plot or anything. There are some surprises, but, just don't expect anything, like, amazing plot-wise. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I think, like, the main character, Akko, she's, like, a quirky, witch character. Imagine someone who's, like, kind of clumsy, kind of like a bit how Celica is in BBTAG, I'm sorry, in BlazBlue. Like, she's not the most skilled, witch either, but I feel like she would be, in a fighting game, she wouldn't have that many long-distance options. I feel like she would have a trickster playstyle, though, right? Even with the little bit of ability that she has in the anime, she does some surprising things, right? She pulls off some things that are really interesting. So I feel like she would be a trickster-style character that, she would have to stay in the mid-range for. And then, funny enough, even though she's the main character, I don't see her being the most beginner-friendly character if she was added to the game. Just saying. Okay, cool, Dread. Awesome. So you haven't finished it yet. Okay, then... Alright, well, try to finish it. It is, like, I think it's worth finishing, for sure. It's interesting. After I was done with it, I wanted to see more of it, personally. I hope that, I hope that we do get a season 3 for it, or however they want to word it. Season 2, season 3, you know, they get like more episodes. Oh yeah, but yeah, Combo. If you, it's interesting. How do I explain it? Little Witch Academia is kind of like Harry Potter, anime Harry Potter. It starts off that way. It really feels like anime Harry Potter the first few episodes, and then it branches off into like its own thing with its own world, and I don't know, like, it's really, really cool, right? In my opinion anyway. If you like magic, it's like a magic slice of life, not slice of life, coming of age kind of story. Even though there is an antagonist, I wouldn't say that there's a villain in this show, but there is an antagonist. I will say that. So yeah, personally, I would personally skip Susie and Lotte, which are the other two main characters, in terms of adding them in. I would skip them because I think their playstyles would be... They would have unique playstyles that would probably be hard to do for a game like BBTAG when you're making characters from scratch. That's the reason why I think, you know, why I think that they would probably skip those characters. But I do think that they would be... I think Susie especially would be interesting, because Susie is like a fan favorite. A lot of people like Susie. I don't like her that much, but a lot of people like Susie. She would be like some weird witch character with, who like relies on her potions and like probably has like some set play and stuff. And then Lotte would be... She would like rely on her summons and like probably have like really nagging like long distance summons that she could use and everything. Which of course, I think that for a game like BBTAG, that's hard to balance when those are brand new characters that you're introducing for the first time. So that's why I thought they would probably skip those characters. Dreadlord, you read my mind, bro. Trust me, I was gonna get to Shiny Chariot. Trust me. Okay, I know that you haven't finished it yet, so I'm not gonna mention any kind of spoilers, but yes, we need Shiny Chariot. If we did get, you know, Little Witch Academia, we would need Shiny Chariot for sure. Oh, Gray. Well, I never read the Harry Potter books, so I've only seen the movie, so yeah, like, I can't really compare. Combo, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get a puppet. They said that we're not gonna get a puppet character. I feel like the Persona characters post-patch will be the closest thing that we get to puppet characters, in my opinion. I mean, that's it. Personally, Combo, before we get to adding new character archetypes to this game, dude, the next big step for this game is getting the roster straight, okay? We need the roster to be straight first before we think of adding in new character archetypes. Gray, you want Carl? And I'm sorry, man. I can't get behind that. Carl was so annoying. Carl was so annoying in BBCF, dude. I cannot get behind that, man. Anyway, let me see here. Oh yeah, no, Dread, yeah, Celica isn't a puppet character. Did someone say that she was? Yeah, Celica isn't a puppet character. Okay, yes, Combo, yes. Oh my god. Okay, that's a conversation we can get to later. Let me just finish this here. So yeah, obviously Akko, if we got Little Witch Academia, Akko I think would be an awesome character. She'd be really quirky, you know, and just have like, you know, some visually cool things as well. I think that the other three, the next would be Diana. I think Diana would be an excellent fit, because I feel like she would be the Weiss of the franchise. She has like the same energy as Weiss, in my opinion. But I feel like playstyle-wise, she'd be like a technical character, but have good mid and long-range options, because that's Diana in Little Witch Academia. She's the prim and proper witch. She has the skill. that's literally her. Like, I feel like she'd be interesting in the game. Also, to note, I think that 9 is the only character in the game right now that uses magic. So, again, another thing that'd be really cool if we got, you know, Little Witch Academia characters here. So, third, I've listed Shiny Chariot. Okay? Why do they... Do I really have to move around that often? That's annoying. Okay, cool. So third, I list Shiny Chariot. So, I'm sure that, you know, I'm not going to spoil anything, but Shiny Chariot, you know, just looking at her, she definitely would have some really flashy, you know, moves and everything. She would probably be the all-around character for the franchise, right? She would be the all-around rep. She would be the character with the low barrier for entry, but I feel like she should have a high skill ceiling, right? I feel like most of her moves would probably be straightforward, you know, that you could see coming, but if you have like someone who fully understands her, you know, and you know, knows, you know, and is like, you know, maybe like a little bit patient and can know when to do what, I feel like that's the person who would get the most out of her. And then for the last choice, it was hard for me to pick between Croy or Amanda. I don't want to get into who Croy is, since you said you haven't finished watching the anime, Dread. But Croy would play the opposite of Shiny Chariot, in my opinion. I feel like she would have a decent barrier for entry, but she would have all the tools that she needs to be like a dominant character, but she would just have like a high skill ceiling, and I feel like her playstyle, that she would like kind of play like a trickster, kind of the way that Akko does, except she would just have the tools to play and to fully take advantage of all those things, and, you know, have like, you know, some deceptive, interesting moves, you know, an interesting moveset. You know, that's what I think. I think it would either be her or Amanda. I feel like Amanda, I don't know if you've seen her yet, if you've seen too much of her in the anime, but Amanda would be the closest thing to a rushdown character from this franchise. And I say that because she has like that attitude about her. Like, she's ready to like have a fight, right? Like, that's literally her. You know, if there's confrontation, she's ready to have a fight. Not only that, but she's like also, you know, skilled with her magic. She's really fast on her broom. If I remember correctly, she's like the fastest broom rider, so I could see her, you know, maybe having like a broom, like a full screen broom special maybe, where like she just flies by. Yes, Dread, Amanda is the athletic one. Yep, that's her. The one with, like the orangish hair. That is Amanda. I feel like she would have limited options from afar, but up close, she would have really good pressure tools. And again, keep in mind that all these characters use magic. Just the fact that they would have such a wide variety of playstyle, but still, like, be witches, you know, and, like, rely on magic, that would be really cool, you know? You know, I think that would be great, and I think that it would, you know, give us more playstyle variety in BBTAG, you know, so the FGC could appreciate those characters. And then I feel like having Little Witch Academia could also, you know, those would just be the first few characters that Trigger could bring over into BBTAG. Who knows? Maybe before they actually make their own All-Star game, they could just add in a couple of other franchises, right? Maybe we could get Darling in the Bronx. You know, maybe we could get Key Sniper. Who knows? But I think that Studio Trigger is the most likely way we're gonna get some anime in BBTAG, because they've wanted to get Arc System Works to work on Kill la Kill for so long. Like, they have a level of respect coming to Arc System Works and asking them for, you know, to work on this project. There's like a level of familiarity between them. So I really think that, you know, whatever your favorite anime is, if there's like a Studio Trigger anime as well, you know, if it's Darling in the Franxx, you know, or, you know, Little Witch Academia, whatever it is that you've been asking them for, ask them for that, plus one of these. Or, you know, any of the other ones on the list, you know, that I've mentioned in terms of being likely. But I know for me, like, if you guys were wondering what I'm going to change my title to on Twitter after we get Ryuko and Satsuki and BBTAG, because right now on Twitter, you know, my name is Max, and then next to it, I have Kill a Kill for BBTAG. So after we get Ryuko and Satsuki and BBTAG, I am gonna change that to Little Witch Academia for BBTAG. Either that or Studio Trigger cross BBTAG. And that's like the reason why I made the title of the stream what it is. I really think that if Studio Trigger worked with Arc System Works for BBTAG, that would be hype. Oh yeah, and then there's one more thing. I wanted to mention this earlier. Okay, so to all the people who you know doubt that that we could get all the characters we've been waiting for season 2, and you know some more Ruby characters and Ryuko and Satsuki, I'm just gonna point this out.
Get ready.
Back in 2015, at GDC 2015, there was a Q&A, right? With Arc System Works. Now, they said that it takes 4 months to create a brand new character from scratch for Xrd, right? 2 months to model the character, to get the character model, to finish creating that, and 2 months to animate that character model. The process for creating sprites involves creating a 3D model first, just like it would for Xrd. They just take that and they turn it into a sprite and then animate it. They said that it's equally challenging to create either the 3D model or the sprite. 1 second. So, the thing is, think about it. The Ryuko and Satsuki character models, they're already done. They're already done because we had to, yeah, like, they're working on Kill la Kill the game. So, okay. Okay. Trying to focus on both here. Okay. Okay. I'll just finish what I was saying right after this here. Wow. Yeah, that lag there was a little bit annoying. Okay.
Almost gave me the shivers.
Okay, yeah. So they already have the models for Ryuko and Satsuki done because of Kill la Kill If. Okay? So it's not, they literally have half the work done for what it would take to get those characters into BBTAG. Just to make that clear. You know, just so people know. That's half the work. That's done. So, in terms of making brand new characters from the ground up, 2 more Ruby characters would be the only things that they'd be making from the ground up, man. That's it.